25 Pilgrims of Hope. From Mega Manila, Philippines to the World Wide Web. Veritas 846 Kapanalig.
Kapanalig makinig, usap-usapang may hatid, tanging pag-asa at pag-ibig, nagpapalaya ang katotohanan ng batid. Veritas 846, ang radyo ng simbahan.
Member, Catholic Media Network and kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Mga kapanalig, ang ating Philippine Standard Time, 1 minuto makalipas ang alas 11 ng umaga. Araw ng Sabado, ikalawang araw sa buwan ng Agosto, taon 2025.
Narito ang Veritas News Alert Nationwide.
Nagpahayag ng pasasalamat ang Caritas Tarlac sa tulong na ipinagkaloob ng Caritas Manila sa mga apektado ng pagbaha at matinding pag-ulan dulot ng hanging habagat na pinalakas ng bagyong Krising, Dante at Emo. Ayon kay Father Randy Salunga, Executive Director ng Caritas Tarlac, malaking ginhawa ang naihatid ng social arm ng Archdiocese of Manila para matugunan ang pangangailangan ng mga residente sa 4 na bayan ng Tarlac na labis na naapektuhan ng kalamidad. Ibinahagi ni Father Salunga na ang tulungang ito ay naging simbolo ng pagkakaisa at malasakit ng simbahan. Patunay na buhay at aktibo ang pag-ibig ng Diyos sa sangkatauhan, lalo na sa oras ng pagsubok. Tiniyak din ng pari na sa anumang sitwasyon, paniniwala o relihiyon ay nakahandang tumugon ng simbahan sa mga higit na nangangailangan. Hinikayat ni Father Salunga ang lahat na ipagpatuloy ang misyon sa pagtulong sa kapwa, lalo na sa mga may hirap upang maipadama ang pagkalinga ng Diyos. Batay sa pinakahuling tala ng Caritas Manila ay umaabot na sa 30,600 ang bilang ng mga mamamayan mula sa iba't ibang dioceses. Sa National Capital Region at mga karatig lalawigan ang nabigyan na ng tulong na mayroon itong kabuong halaga at humigit kumulang 6.3 milyon pesos. Magbabalik ang mga balita mamayang 1:00 ng hapon. Ako ang inyong kapanalig Jeremiah Figarola, sumainyo ang katotohanan.
Abangang muli ang Veritas News Alert Nationwide.
Ang balitang ito ay inihatid sa inyo ng Renalyn.
Renalyn, 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 araw-araw.
Iwasan ang usok mula sa ibinubuga ng isang naninigarilyo. Ito ay second-hand smoke. Ayon sa mga eksperto, ang second-hand smoke ay mapanganib sa kalusugan, lalo na kung may lung cancer. Iwasang maging second-hand smoker upang mailigtas ang iyong baga sa anumang uri ng sakit. Isang paalala mula sa inyong kapanalig na himpilan, Veritas 846, ang radyo ng simbahan ngayong National Lung Month. Kapanalig, ngayong tag-ulan ay laganap ang leptospirosis. Ito ay sakit na nakukuha mula sa Leptospira bacteria na kadalasang nakukuha sa ihi ng daga at iba pang hayop. Kapag humalo ang kanilang ihi sa baha at putik, maaaring pumasok ito sa mga sugat o bitak sa balat, mata, ilong at bibig ng tao na lumusong sa baha ng walang proteksyon. Kabilang sa mga sintomas ng leptospirosis sa mga tao ang pagkakaroon ng lagnat, pananakit ng kalamnan, pagtatae, panginginig, sakit ng ulo at pantal. Kung hindi maaagapan ang leptospirosis, ay maaaring humantong sa pinsala sa atay, hirap sa paghinga at kamatayan. Kapanalig, mag-ingat sa leptospirosis. Maaaring maagapan ang sakit na ito kung iiwasan ang paglusong sa baha na kontaminado ng Leptospira bacteria. Isang paalala ng inyong kapanalig na himpilan, Veritas 846, ang radyo ng simbahan.
Programang titimbang ng katotohanan sa usapang panlipunan. Veritas. Magpapayabong sa moralidad ng bawat Pilipino. Veritas. Magsusulong ng mga doktrina ng simbahan sa sektor ng ekonomiya, politika, kultura at kalikasan. Veritas. Tuwing Sabado, kasama si Reverend Father Jerome Ceciliano. Veritas.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Araw po ng Sabado ngayon. Veritasan po magmula alas 11 hanggang alas 12 po ng tanghali. Napapakinggan po ninyo si Father Jerome Ceciliano, ang rector po ng National Shrine of Mary, Queen of Peace. Dito po sa ating palatuntunang Veritas ang pinag-uusapan natin ang mga maiinit na issues sa lipunan. Ano pa nga ba ang pinakamainit na issue ngayon? Walang iba kundi ang naunsyami na impeachment kay pangalawang Pangulo Sara Duterte. Ngayon pong umagang ito, makakapanayan po natin ang dating Associate Justice ng Supreme Court, si Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio, para nga po talakayin itong naging desisyon ng Korte Suprema na di umano ay hindi matutuloy. Okay? Ito pong impeachment ng pangalawang Pangulo dahil meron pong ilang mga technicalities na nakita dito po sa na-file na impeachment complaint. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Justice Carpio. Father Jerome po.
Magandang umaga, Father Jerome. Magandang umaga sa mga tagakinig natin.
Opo. Isa po kayo sa mga napanood ng publiko na nagbigay ng inyo pong opinion patungkol sa ginawa din pong desisyon ng Korte Suprema. Sa mga hindi pa po nakakapanood ng sinabi po ninyo, ng pananaw po ninyo, pwede ho ba na ulitin natin dito sa palatuntunan ng Veritasan para maintindihan din po ng mga taga-subaybay po natin?
Thank you, Father. Yung isang bayan, which I chair, raises two issues, no? Unang-una, ang sabi ng Supreme Court, yung fourth impeachment complaint, which was signed by more than 1/3 of the members of the House, was filed late and is now barred by the one-year bar rule dahil hindi ito inapprove, it was not submitted to the plenary for voting. Nakalagay doon, it was not submitted to the plenary for voting. And because of that, pag hindi it was not voted by the plenary within the 10 session days, it's filed out of time dahil it should be acted within those 10 session days from the first complaint, no? Pero ang nangyari actually, it is borne out by the records of the House. Nagkaroon ng session on the 10th session day, at ang plenary voted. Nakalagay doon, there was a motion by Congressman Dalipe for the body to vote on the articles of impeachment signed by 215 members of the House, recommending the impeachment of VP Sara Duterte, and the Congressman Dalipe put it to a vote that this article of impeachment should be sent to the Senate. So yun yung motion. So, and there was no objection to that motion. That motion authorized the Secretary General of the House to send immediately the articles of impeachment, which was signed by more than 1/3 of the members of the House, to send it to the Senate immediately. So, hearing no objection, it was deemed approved by the chair, no? This was 3:37 p.m., 3:37 in the afternoon of February 25, 2025. After that, there was a second motion in the plenary to archive the first three previous complaints because they are now considered superseded by the fourth complaint. In fact, the fourth complaint is a composite of the strong arguments, strong elements of the first three. Dahil yung individually, yung first three, mukhang hindi not complete, no? So ang ginawa nila, they drew up a fourth articles of impeachment. Kinuha nila yung strong elements of the first three and added more. And even the congressman who endorsed the first three, sumama doon sa fourth. Okay. So, at because the approved resolution by the plenary says that the Secretary General of the House shall immediately transmit the articles of impeachment to the Senate. Dinala kaagad sa Senate, so by 4:57, almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon, dumating sa Senado. It was received by the Senate at 4:57, 59, almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon. No? And then, 2 hours later, at 7:15, the House adjourned. So, klarong-klaro, nauna yung approval ng fourth complaint. Tapos, they archived the first 3 complaint. And then, the approved fourth complaint was received by the Senate. And 2 hours later, the House adjourned. Ngayon, ang sabi ng Supreme Court, wala rong approval by the plenary of the fourth complaint. And the court cited as a source 2 reports of ABS-CBN. Newspaper reports lang. So of course, the Journal of the House will prevail. No, that's exactly what happened. So because sabi ng Korte Suprema that because there was no approval, void yon. Kailangan daw i-approve ng House because nakalagay, the House shall initiate the impeachment. Hindi lang a committee or 1/3, but the House. So it must be put to a vote. If there is 1/3, yun na yung papadala, more than 1/3. So, because nagkamali yung Supreme Court, ang basis nila for striking down the articles of impeachment was that it was not approved by the plenary. It was actually approved, so the consequence is that valid, constitutional yung articles of impeachment na pinadala sa Senado. So, yun. Very simple.
Okay.
It's a matter of fact.
Apo. Ito po, i-clarify ko lang. Yung binabanggit ninyo ngayon na hindi di umano inapruba ng plenaryo yung fourth impeachment complaint ay mukha yatang parang bagong information kasi yung nauna pong naulat, na parang di umano ay violation na ng 1-year rule na dapat sa isang taon ay isang impeachment complaint lang ang dapat na ipa-file laban sa impeachable na opisyal. Yun po ang parang unang na napakinggan ng publiko. Ngayon, binabanggit ninyo ay ito palang fourth impeachment complaint ay hindi allegedly, dinalakay sa plenary at hindi inaprubahan. Samantalang sabi nga ho ninyo, merong journal ang Congress mismo na nagsasabi na merong approval. So which is which?
Well, may journal talaga, pinakita nila. That's why in their motion for reconsideration now, they will include that. Yung 1 year, ang sabi ng Korte Suprema, dahil wala kayong sinaing na approved resolution, at saka yung first 3, you archive it, yung archiving ninyo equivalent to dismissal na yan. So upon adjournment of the House at 7 p.m., the 1-year bar rule started. Hindi na ninyo maipasok yung fourth complaint dahil hindi nag 1-year bar rule na, kahit na i-approve ngayon yan ng plenary, too late dahil may 1-year bar rule na. Ang assumption nila, walang approval ng plenary. Merong approval Sabi nila yung 1-year bar rule started when the House adjourned at 7:15 p.m.
But you're talking...
Ang assumption nila, hindi na-approve ng plenary. So, sabi nila, paano yan? Hindi na ninyo ma-approve ngayon yan dahil nag-start na yung 1-year bar rule. Mali yung kanilang assumption na walang approval. There was approval before the adjournment. Kaya the 1-year bar rule will not apply dahil based on their own statement that the 1-year bar rule started at 7 p.m. of that day. But at 3:57, there was an approval by the plenary of the
Okay.
fourth impeachment.
Veritasan.
Iwasan ang usok mula sa ibinubuga ng isang naninigarilyo. Ito ay second-hand smoke. Ayon sa mga eksperto, ang second-hand smoke ay mapanganib sa kalusugan, lalo na kung may lung cancer. Iwasang maging second-hand smoker upang mailigtas ang iyong baga sa anumang uri ng sakit. Isang paalala mula sa inyong kapanalig na himpilan, Veritas 846, ang radyo ng simbahan ngayong National Lung Month. Kapanalig, narito ang mga programang mapapakinggan tuwing umaga simula Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Salubungin ang araw ng may kamalayan sa mahalagang pangyayari sa bansa at sa buong mundo. Nahatid ng morning newscast sa Veritas Balita tuwing alas 5:30 ng umaga. Pagsapit naman ng alas 7, makinig sa detalyadong pagtalakay at mga panayam sa mga newsmakers kaugnay sa mga maliinit na usapin sa bansa sa programang Veritas Pilipinas. Alas 8 ng umaga, pakinggan ang programang katatampukan ang iba't ibang kaganapan sa ating lipunan sa barangay at sa simbahan sa Barangay Simbayanan. Alas 9 ng umaga, alamin ang mga kwento at talakayang pampamilya at iba pa sa programang Katok Tahanan. At alas 10 hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali, ang 2 oras na kwentuhan, kasiyahan tungkol sa pamilya, buhay-buhay, lipunan at iba pa sa perspektibo ng pananampalatayang Katoliko sa programang Kalakbay ng Pamilya. Yan ang inyong aabangan sa Morning Weekdays program sa inyong kapanalig na himpilan, Veritas 846, ang radyo ng simbahan. Bakit ipinagdiriwang ang buwan ng wika?
Ako'y isang Pinoy sa puso't diwa.
Ito ay isang paraan upang bigyang diin ang halaga ng wikang pambansa. Hinihiling din sa lahat ng paaralan, pribado man o pampubliko, hanggang sa mga kolehiyo at universidad na magsagawa ng kaukulang palatuntunan sa buong buwan para sa epektibong hakbang sa pagpapalaganap ng wikang pambansa ng mga Filipino. Isang kaalaman mula sa Komisyon sa Wikang Filipino at Veritas 846 sa pagdiriwang ng Buwan ng Wika.
Ako'y Pinoy na mayroong sariling wika.
Veritasan.
Ang pagkakaintindi ko po, yung 1-year bar rule ay in-apply nila after the filing of the 3 impeachment complaints. Okay? Yung pong pagkakaintindi ko. Nag-file muna ng 3 impeachment complaints, pero mukhang hindi naman na-initiate. Initiate meaning, hindi naman pinansin o hindi naman inaksyonan, ika nga sa terminology ng publiko. Hindi inaksyonan. Kaya nag-file ngayon ng 4th impeachment complaint. So yung akin pong pagkakaintindi, siguro yung publiko din, parang nakapag-file na ng 3 impeachment complaint na hindi inaksyonan, pero yung Supreme Court yata nagsalita na yung 3 impeachment complaint, yun na yun. Kaya yung pang-4, wala na. Ano po yun? Ano
in
po
effect,
yung
ganyan ang resulta. Dahil sa Francisco case, decided by the Supreme Court, yung term initiation was defined. An impeachment complaint is initiated by the filing and referral to the Committee on Justice. Dapat umabot sa Committee on Justice. Pag hindi umabot, walang initiation. Pag walang initiation, walang 1-year bar rule. Di ba? Okay. Lahat yung 3, hindi umabot sa Committee on Justice.
Okay. Clear.
So, based on the existing jurisprudence, at the time the impeachment complaint, the 4th impeachment complaint was approved and received by the House, the rule was, dapat umabot ka sa Senado, sa Committee on Justice of the House, bago ma-initiate yung impeachment complaint. Walang umabot Ngayon, sabi ng Korte Suprema, when the plenary archived it, that is equivalent to dismissal, and the 1-year bar rule will apply upon adjournment. Well, physically, time-wise, before the 1-year bar rule applied, may approval na ng plenary. So, it will not apply anymore yung 1-year bar rule, no? And there is another reason why the 1-year bar rule should not be applied. Yung 1-year bar rule is there because dapat, if you are a public official, you should only be harassed or inconvenienced once. That's why there could be no multiple impeachment complaints against you. One at a time lang. Okay. That's pero yung the harassment or the inconvenience will happen only when the complaint reaches the Committee on Justice, because pagdating doon, that's when you are informed. You are given a copy, you answer, you file your comment. But pag dinismiss yun at the plenary level, there is no inconvenience to you. Kasi na-dismiss, walang hearing. This was dismissed, pero in-apply pa rin nila yung 1-year bar rule. Porke? What is the reason for applying the 1-year bar rule? Wala ngang inconvenience, walang harassment. Hindi nga siya answer o pina-comment man lang. Wala nga umabot sa kayo na dokumento. So the rationale for the 1-year bar rule is you have been subjected or being subjected already to trial, to hearing. Dapat into muna, wala munang additional until after 1 year. Pag dinismiss, that means you are not being subjected to anything. Bakit i-apply mo yung 1-year bar rule? Okay. So, there are two reasons why you cannot apply the 1-year bar rule, because one, umabot naman yung 4th complaint At saka yung first 3 complaints, hindi naman umabot sa Committee on Justice. Hindi na-initiate pag hindi umabot sa Committee on Justice. Tapos, when it was deemed dismissed, so there is no harm, there is no inconvenience to the public official. There is no rationale for imposing the 1-year bar rule.
So the basis now, sige pa, continue pa.
Pangalawang reason namin why we are questioning this is that sinabi ng Korte Suprema, nag-add sila, they added requirements, no? Dapat sa plenary merong hearing. You send an copy of the draft pa lang, it goes of impeachment to the person, and then he can demand a hearing, present evidence, present witnesses. Ang problema dyan, under the Constitution, once the impeachment complaint is included in the order of business, the plenary has only 3 session days to refer it to the Committee on Justice. In those 3 session days, you don't have time to deliberate on the articles of impeachment. Pag-usapan ninyo yan, ano yung wording, lahat yan, that will take a time. At least 1 day yan. You notify the following day, and you have to give him at least 3 days notice to prepare his answer, and then he can now there will be a hearing. He will call his witnesses, present document. So there was no intention whatsoever to have a hearing at the plenary, because you're given only 3 session days to bring it to the Committee on Justice. And in fact, it is in the Committee on Justice. The Committee on Justice will determine 3 things. One, whether the articles of impeachment submitted by the plenary is sufficient in form. Pag sufficient in form, they go to the second question, is it sufficient in substance? If the 2 are there, they go to the third question, is there probable cause? Is the evidence presented enough to constitute probable cause? Pag there is probable cause, they will now send a copy of the articles of impeachment to the person being impeached, who will have time, I think, given 10 days to answer, to file a complaint, together with the affidavits of his witnesses, and there will be a hearing, examination and cross-examination. Matagal talaga yung hearing. It cannot be completed in 3 session days. So, doon ang due process. Because at that time, before the committee decides whether that there is probable cause, there is no point in a hearing. When there is a probable cause, that's when you have a hearing. At the committee level, at the plenary level, they don't.
Veritasan.
Celebrating 56 years of Catholic Broadcasting. This Jubilee Year 2025, Pilgrims of Hope. From Mega Manila, Philippines to the World Wide Web. Veritas 846 Kapanalig.
Kapanalig makinig, usap-usapang may hatid, tanging pag-asa at pag-ibig, nagpapalaya ang katotohanan ng batid. Veritas 846, ang radyo ng simbahan.
Member, Catholic Media Network and kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Mga kapanalig, ang ating Philippine Standard Time, 27 minuto makalipas alas 11 ng umaga.
Veritasan.
Okay, so yung sa plenary, they do not determine sufficiency of the form, of the substance, or whether there is probable cause. So there is no need for a hearing.
Okay.
Those questions are the function of the Committee on Justice. Kaya doon nagkakaroon ng hearing. Ang ngayon ang sabi ng Supreme Court, dapat magkaroon kayo ng hearing sa plenary. That is why that's the second ground why the impeachment, your impeachment complaint is void, because you did not conduct a hearing. But that was never the intention. And even if the Supreme Court has authority to impose that requirement, it cannot be retroacted to February 5, 2025. Ngayon, ano na tayo? July. August na, no? Because the rule is, if you have a new doctrine that reverses an old doctrine, you cannot retroact it. You have to make it prospective. Tawag dyan, doctrine of operative fact. Why? Dahil under the old doctrine, when they performed it, when the House performed all those acts, valid yun under the old doctrine. Under the existing doctrine at that time, valid. Wala namang silang alam na meron palang kailangang hearing. So, valid yun. If it was valid at the time you performed it, you cannot be faulted. Because how could you possibly comply with this new rule when nobody knew about it? You did not know. The world didn't know about it. So you cannot possibly comply. You are imposing an impossible condition. Now, you should have complied with this new rule. But at that time, there was no such a rule.
Okay,
In
Chief,
fact, all the impeachments never had any hearing at the plenary.
all right. Does it mean that itong ginawa ng Supreme Court na magbigay pa ng requirement para sa pagpapile ng impeachment complaint, unconstitutional yon?
Well, first of all, ang tingin ko, assuming it is constitutional, they can impose those requirements. They cannot retroact it because that will violate due process. Because due process says before you can be obliged or required to do an act, there must be a law or regulation requiring you.
Yeah.
At that time, wala eh. You cannot be penalized for performing an act that was totally valid at the time you performed it.
Okay. Yan po bang...
The question is, does the Supreme Court have the authority to impose those new requirements? Ang tingin ko, hindi. Because the Constitution says the House shall have the exclusive power to initiate all impeachment cases, and the House shall promulgate its rules to carry into effectively to carry out effectively this power to exclusively initiate impeachment cases. So nakalagay sa Constitution, yung House ang gagawa ng rules. So hindi pwede, the rules will be imposed by someone else, no, by any other body.
Okay, so these things have been expressed and explained already. Kayo po, tapos mga previous pa. Pero ang tanong ko ho dito, ginawa na ho to ng Supreme Court eh. Ito po bang Supreme Court? Yung bang explanation na binibigay ninyo ngayon? Hindi ba yan pare-parehas sa mga justice? Kasi it refers to the law. Very basic po yun eh. Ako may background din ako ng canon law. Kung magbibigay ka ng panibagong condition, hindi naman retroactive yan. Maapektuhan pa yung dati na. Alam naman ho natin yan. Pero yung po bang mga justice na bumoto ho, pabor dito sa naging desisyon nila, wala ba silang ganong sense? Ano tingin niyo?
Well, they might have overlooked it. That is the purpose of the motion for reconsideration. Na, intay muna, meron tayong rule na pag nagkaroon ka ng bagong doctrine, hindi mo pwede i-retroact yan. Nobody knew about that before. How could they have complied? So you apply it to future situations. So that's why we are going for an MR, and klaro naman on the first ground, sabi nila, walang plenary vote. May plenary vote naman to approve the fourth complaint. So we hope that these are strong grounds and the court will reconsider.
Okay. Magpapakilala po ang Veritasan. Wag po kayo maglilipat ng inyo pong istasyon. Tutuloy po natin ang talakayan with Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio. Balik po tayo mga kapanalig sa ating pong talakayan dito po sa naunsaminga na impeachment laban sa pangalawang Pangulo si Sara Duterte, dahil nga po yan sa naging desisyon ng Korte Suprema na di umano ay na-violate yung one-bar rule sa pagpapile ng impeachment complaint, at dinidetalye po sa atin ni Senior Associate Justice mga, alam niyo yung mga nitty-gritty nito na mukha yatang hindi naman tama o di kaya nagkamali, merong error na nangyari po doon sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema. Ngayon po, ito na. Binanggit po ninyo yung MR, Motion for Reconsideration. Okay. Kanino po ipapile ang MR? Na Supreme Court din?
Sa Supreme Court rin.
So do you see the Supreme Court changing its stand or overturning its decision?
Well, very infrequently, the Supreme Court has overturned itself on motion for recon. And I will not preclude the possibility that it will also do so here. Merong variation. First, the option is stand still. They will stand firm on this present opinion. Second, they will say, okay, we will apply this prospectively. We will not apply to the present case because of the doctrine of operative fact or prospective overturning. The third option is talagang they will overturn everything. Sabihin nila, well, we will allow the House first to promulgate its own rules, and then if there is a case questioning that, that's when we will decide whether it's constitutional or not. We will not impose from the outside new rules. So, tatlong option yan nakikita ko.
Sige po. Let's look at the numbers. So we have 15 justices. 13 of them voted for the majority decision, and then one abstained, at yung isa naman ay sick leave yata. Okay. Now yung 30 na yon, do you think parang unanimous na to, justice? Unanimous na yan. So do you see that sa tatlong option na yon, pupunta doon sa option na i-overturn nila?
Well, I think the fact that sabi nila the plenary did not approve, it's either plenary approve or not lang yan Wala namang, there can be no other situation. So, mali sila. So, they cannot just say, kahit na mali kami, void pa rin yung fourth complaint. But they will lose credibility. I don't think they will do that. They will have to, there has to be a consequence. Pwede nilang sabihin, okay, meron palang approval, so valid. Pero sa second ground, hindi, there should have been a hearing at the plenary level, but we will apply this prospectively. It could be like that, no? Could be like that. Pero kasi mahirap sabihin mo, o kahit na walang approval, ayaw pa rin namin magpalit ng posisyon. The lawyers are very logical. Babasahin ng mga estudyante, magtataka yung mga law students. It's not good. It's not good for the credibility of the Supreme Court. I think they will reconsider that portion.
Okay. Kayo po ang nagsabi kanina na House of Representatives, sila yung may sole responsibility to file an impeachment case. Okay? Ngayon, wala po yatang detalye kung paano gagawin ito, except for the fact that kailangan i-refer ito sa Secretary General and then sa Committee on Justice and then botohan yan sa plenary kung meron bang mga pipirma na kongresista. Parang yun na po nalalaman ng publiko. Ngayon nagdagdag. Okay? Ngayon yung sinasabi niyong operative facts, o kung magdadagdag kayo, may i-apply nyo na yan sa susunod. Ang tanong ko lang muna dito, basic, kailangan bang magpadagdag? Meron bang authority na magpadagdag ang Supreme Court?
Ang tingin ko, sapat na yung existing rules. Because yung if you go through the records of the Constitutional Commission, yung sponsor nitong provision na ito, accountability of government, I see Commissioner Christian Monsod. Ang sabi niya, we are liberalizing the impeachment process. We will relax it because of what happened in the Batasan where napaka strict. You cannot really file an impeachment case. So that's why instead of before under the 1935 Constitution, you needed 2/3 to initiate lang. Binaba nila to 1/3. Under the 35 Constitution, to convict, you have to have 3/4 vote of the Senate. Binaba nila to 2/3. They liberalized it. At saka, sabi nila, para talagang kahit na yung Senado, yung House, patagalin nila, bigyan natin ng second mode. Nagkaroon ng second mode. Basta nakapirma yung 1/3, dedirection na yan to the Senate. Kaagad-agad. They use the word forthwith, which if you translate, if you look at the Filipino translation of the Constitution, forthwith means agad-agad. So, they really liberalized it and made an express lane. Yung express lane, ito yung 1/3. Pag nakapirma na yung 1/3, nakalagay sa Constitution, the same shall constitute the articles of impeachment and trial by the Senate shall proceed forthwith. Kaagad-agad mag-trial. So, klarong-klaro yan. They put up this second mode dahil baka tatagal yung first. So, that's the reason why there is second. Ngayon, ang gusto ng Supreme Court, doon sa second mode, magkaroon rin kayo ng hearing katulad ng first mode. Hindi pwede yon because yung express lane nga yung second mode walang hearing na Mm-hmm. Pag may endorsement lang ng 1/3 of the House. So, so ang tingin ko, hindi nila pwede palitan yung second mode because the second mode is supposed to be kaagad-agad magkaroon ng trial sa Senado the moment you have articles of impeachment signed by 1/3.
Okay. One thing that is good about us today, we have the benefit of the presence of the framers of the Constitution na pwede natin balikan para makapagbigay talaga ng clarity sa ganitong mga issue na medyo malabo. Yung nga lang, kahit yung framers of the Constitution are here to give clarity and even enunciate on the intent. Kung paano nila finrame yan, meron ngayon ganitong mga opinion nang galing pa mismo sa Supreme Court. Ang tanong ko, sino ngayon ang mamamayani dito? Yung decision ng Supreme Court o yung intent ng framers ng Constitution?
Well, the intent should prevail, especially when they are expressed clearly, kaagad-agad, forthwith. So walang you cannot interpret it otherwise, because clearly they wanted an express lane and it's there in the wording, forthwith.
Okay.
So wala na dapat sa plenary hearing dahil katulad ng ordinary filing, hindi naman ang plenary mag-determine ng for sufficiency in form, substance, or probable cause. Sa second level yan, sa Committee on Justice. Ganyan din sa second mode. It's the Senate already as an impeachment court. So may symmetry yan eh. There's a rationale behind that. So pag baguhin mo yan, bakit ngayon hindi na express lane yung second mode?
Okay po, Chief Justice. Ito ano lang, hypothetical. Even without the intent of the framers of the Constitution, na although we have the benefit of that, sabihin na natin wala. Binasa nyo lang ho yung Constitution. Okay? Kayo lang po, binasa ninyo. Yung po bang nabasa ninyo, malinaw ho ba kung ano talagang gustong ipagawa ng Constitution sa mga naatasan na mag-file ng impeachment o di kaya duminig sa impeachment? Kayo po, bilang isang maestrado, malinaw ho ba? Wala bang
malinaw? Malinaw dahil nakasabi doon, once the articles of impeachment are signed by 1/3, the same shall constitute the articles of impeachment, and trial by the Senate shall proceed forthwith. So kaagad-agad magka-trial. So klarong-klaro eh. Pag merong 1/3 na signature, yun na yun ang articles. Yun ang importante. Yun, ano yung articles of impeachment? Ang sabi ng saligang batas, pag nakapirma yung 1/3, yun na yun. At saka dalayin kaagad ninyo sa Senado. That's very clear. Because that was the intention. Second mode para express lane yan eh.
Sige. So, after saying that, ito susunod yung tanong. So, bakit naging ganito? Yung pagtrato sa impeachment complaint laban sa pangalawang Pangulo, bakit po kaya tang gumulo? Ano bang nakikita ninyo dito? Politics? Or the triumph of the legal profession? Or, namayagpag dito politika? Ano ho ba?
Well, I will withhold my judgment because there is still a motion for recon. And I defer to my former institution, and I think they will decide correctly. So, at the end of the day, I think they will decide correctly. I have faith in that.
Okay, magbabalik po ang Veritasan. Huwag po kayong ulit maglilipat ng istasyon. Very interesting po ang pinag-uusapan natin ngayong umagang ito.
Veritasan.
Kapanalig, narito ang ilang paalala sa pakikibahagi ng on-air and online healing masses sa Veritas tuwing alas 6 ng umaga, alas 12 ng tanghali, alas 6 ng gabi at alas 12 ng hating gabi. Maghanda ng isang munting altar at maaaring lagyan ng krusipiho at nakasinding kandila. Magsuot ng kaaya-ayang damit katulad ng isinusuot kapag dumadalo sa pangkaraniwang misa. Panatilihin ang katahimikan at sumabay sa mga pag-awit at pagtugon sa mga bahagi ng misa. Iwasan ang mga bagay na makakasagabal habang nakikiisa sa banal na Eucharistia. Maaaring tumayo o umupo sa pakikibahagi ng Eucharistia maliban na lamang sa mga may karamdaman. Sa bahagi ng komunyon, hinihikayat ang lahat na dasalin ng Act of Spiritual Communion bilang pagtanggap ng banal na komunyon. Kapanalig, ating ihanda ang sarili sa pakikiisa sa hapag ng Panginoon, ang hapag ng katotohanan at ng ating kaligtasan. Healing Mass sa Veritas. Abangan!
Veritasan.
Okay, mga kapanalig, yung pong may mga text message dyan, mag-text po kayo para maklarify po natin yung pong mga naglalaro din sa isipan po ninyo ng mga tanong, sasagutin po yan ni Justice Carpio para at least sa mga talakayan natin, sa mga talastasan natin, is meron tayong informed, ika nga, na kaalaman patungkol po dito sa usapin na to. Okay, Justice, anong nakikita nyo ngayon na pwedeng mangyari? Nagkagulo na. Yung pong espesipiko ditong tanong, may mga senador na allegedly gustong ituloy daw yung impeachment. Meron tayong nakabinbin ngayon na kumbaga usapin sa Supreme Court. Kapag tinuloy ng senador yan, nung una parang ayaw. Nung nagsalita yung Supreme Court, mukhang meron nang bumibida na sana matuloy. Wala bang, anong magiging epekto nito? Politically, sa ating bansa yan.
Well, I think we should as much as possible preserve the semblance of the rule of law, no? Dahil sinabi ng Korte Suprema, immediately executory but not yet final. So, okay, immediately executory, okay, so wag na muna nila i-decide whether they should dismiss or not. Intayin na lang nila yung decision on the motion for reconsideration. Hindi naman matagal yan eh. And when they do that, at least there will be calm. Dahil pag itutuloy nila, magkakaroon pa tayo ng constitutional crisis eh. Tutuloy ng Senado, sabi ng Supreme Court, immediately executory, unconstitutional. It means unconstitutional, huwag kayo don't continue. So, let's find a middle ground. Okay, suspended muna, hintayin namin yung finality. Wala namang mawawala sa Senado, no? And I think that is the correct way. Let us, pag nagkamali yung isang institution, give them a chance to correct themselves.
Okay, sa makatwid, ang taong bayan ay maghihintay sa magiging hakbang ng Korte Suprema. Dapat ang Senado maghintay din sa magiging desisyon ng Korte Suprema. Halos lahat maghihintay. Pero binanggit po ninyo na madali lang naman yan eh. Hindi naman yan magtatagal. Okay. Ito naman kung hindi magtatagal, halimbawa lang na sinabi ng Supreme Court na etong ginawa namin ay nandoon na sa pangalawa na sinabi ninyo na okay, merong na overlook siguro, bla bla bla. Ang assessment ninyo, matutuloy ho ba ang impeachment sa pangalawang pangulo?
Well, first of all, even setting aside the MR, sabi naman ng Supreme Court sa present resolution nila, the impeachment can proceed after February 5. So that means on February 6, a new impeachment can be refiled. The same impeachment, articles of impeachment can be refiled. So matutuloy. Delay lang talaga ito.
Delay, okay.
But I think we should correct it, the decision. No? We should do our best to have it corrected because nahigpitan masyado yung impeachment process contrary to the intent of the framers. No? At saka pag binigyan mo ng 3 session days lang ang plenary, walang mangyari. Hindi aabot. They cannot decide. So, I think the Supreme Court should revisit this because if they don't, practically impossible to impeach anyone already. So, and Justice Ascuna also mentioned that, no? So, I think that's why basically we are pushing for an MR because of for the future. Dahil pag wala nang avenue to redress injustices or corruption in government, baka magka-problema tayo ulit.
Okay.
Let us, because this is the release valve itong impeachment eh. Pag siniraan mo, sasabog yan later on pag mag-build up na yung pressure. No. So you cannot really close the impeachment valve.
Meron na po bang mga grupo na nag-file ng MR sa Supreme Court?
Wala pa because they still have time, I think. But the Speaker of the House already announced that they are filing, no? They're filing ang MR. Yung grupo namin sa isang bayan, we're now preparing a petition for intervention. We are intervening at that stage, no? But it's rather late. But because of the gravity, seriousness of this case, we're asking the court to allow us to intervene.
Ano pong ibig sabihin ng intervention na binabanggit po ninyo?
Yung intervention namin, that we are intervening because we want the court to reconsider its decision, its resolution.
But that's different from the MR.
Different yan. Kasi yung MR, yung mga parties ang affected yan. Kami, we are intervening on the side of the
parties affected. Okay. So, maganda yung binanggit ninyo dito na wag naman sanang ma-close yung valve. Kasi kapag halimbawa hindi ma-resolve dito, baka wala na tayong mapanagot. Baka bumalik tayo sa dati na alam ninyo parang abusado yung mga opisyal, tapos wala tayong mechanism para mapanagot ang mga yan. Sa ganitong usapin, ano ho bang nakikita ninyo na mga dapat pang gawin para at least maayos in the future etong pagpa-file ng impeachment para wala nang ganitong gulo? Ano bang nakikita niyo on the legal sides, the legal aspect of it, para magkaroon ng clarity, parang alam mo yun, seamless ang susunod na pagpa-file?
We have pending petitions in the Supreme Court, kami sa Isang Bayan. We are questioning the constitutionality of confidential funds. This is involved also in the present impeachment, no? Dahil ang nakalagay naman sa saligang batas, the public has a right to information on all matters of public concern unless there is a law providing for reasonable limitations. So the general rule is all public expenditures must be shown to the public. Must be the public officer should be accountable. But if there is a law providing that law can provide for reasonable limitations, reasonable lang, hindi total. Ngayon, there is no law saying that confidential funds will be governed by limitations, any limitation. There is no law providing for an exception from this general rule. Ang ginawa ni former President Duterte, he issued an executive order. Sabi niya, the public has a right to information on all matters of public concern except confidential funds. That's why when we wrote VP Sara, can you please explain to us how you spent your confidential fund of 25 million? Sabi niya, sorry, I cannot explain it to you because under this EO of President Duterte, these are confidential funds, not open to public scrutiny. So we went to the Supreme Court. Sabi namin, Supreme Court, you have to strike down this executive order because this usurps congressional power. Hindi naman ito law. The Constitution says only a law can provide reasonable limitations. Hindi pwede yung executive lang. It has to be Congress. That is why the Supreme Court has to rule on this dahil right now, hindi lang Davao City ang daming confidential fund. Makati meron na, Quezon City meron na, and even the department heads, katulad si Sara, demanding that she has confidential fund. Wala namang batas saying that there should be confidential funds. So we want the Supreme Court to strike down the confidential funds because there is no law providing for it. Let Congress pass a law. So yun. So, and that this is one of the issues in the impeachment complaint. The other thing is we have a pending case also. The Supreme Court, Isang Bayan, has a pending case on the anti-dynasty law. Dahil more than 38, the state shall prohibit political dynasties as may be defined by law. So it shall be prohibited. And up to now, the law has not defined it. Congress has not defined it because right now, more than 80% of the House is composed of political dynasties. So, of course, they will not legislate. So we we again went to the Supreme Court because pag hindi sila baka magkakaproblema. It will be a social volcano. No, you're closing the valve again. So we want the Supreme Court to order now the Congress to enact that law. Because nakalagay, the state shall prohibit political prohibit shall. So mandatory. So madami kaming sinaing sa Supreme Court because we want this to be resolved by the rule of law. Because if you don't resolve it by the rule of law, it will be resolved by the rule of the gun, by armed force. And we don't want that. We don't want that.
Okay. Kailan nyo pa ho ba na-file itong mga binabanggit po ninyo, anti-dynasty, and then of course itong confidential fund na strike? Kailan pa ho yan na-file?
Well, we filed that almost 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So
yeah, almost.
Is it that long for the Supreme Court to decide on it? O bakit po wala pa?
That is why we're trying to explain it to the public, so they will also join us. Madami na. We have been joined by generals, by bishops, by clergy, by civil society in these cases. And we have been explaining it publicly. I've been talking about it. So, it takes time to build up a consensus, and we hope that we will be able to draw the attention of the Supreme Court. Katulad niyan, if they decided on the confidential fund, Sara Duterte could have been guided on the use of the confidential fund, no? So, dapat yan, it should be resolved already because we need guidance also, no? From the Supreme Court.
Binanggit po ninyo yung mga sektor na nakausap nyo na patungkol sa mga inihain ninyong petition sa Supreme Court. Pero mukha yata yung pinaka-importante dito, yung mga mambabatas. I'm talking about the congressmen and the senators. Were you able to reach out to them?
Well, our process is we will get a favorable decision from the Supreme Court saying, Congress, you should now pass that law. Matagal na masyado ang 38 years. And so we will talk to them. And then in the next election, we will say, do not vote for this congressman because they don't want to pass the law. Vote for this congressman because they have committed to us they will pass the law. Ganyan ang gagawin.
Okay. So may strategy pala. Okay. Anyway, so marami po tayong napag-usapan dito. Unless of course meron pa kayong gustong ipaliwanag, pero sa akin ay nakuha ko yung mga points na ni-raise po ninyo. And I hope naman yung mga nakikinig po sa atin ay naintindihan nila yung pong mga paliwanag ninyo. But of course, masalimuot po itong usapin ng impeachment. Ayaw man nating sabihin, pero talagang politics is in play also. Ayaw nating kumbaga ay bahiran ng politika sana itong mga gawaing ito, pero hindi naman natin masisisi ang publiko kung sakali mang gano'n ang kanilang iniisip. But gusto sana natin umiral yung batas, sabi nga ninyo, rule of law, at hindi lang siguro batas yung decency, pati na siguro yung ethics sa kamoralidad, pero yun po mahirap Kagagaling ko lang sa isang seminar, bago tayo nagkaroon ng ganitong pag-uusap, ang seminar na ito sa National Security Strategy. At pinag-usapan po doon, yung isang strategy is itong ang moral and spiritual consensus. Pero sabi ko, pinag-uusapan natin dito, moral, spiritual, merong ethical standards, pero bakit kaya mukha yatang unethical practices ang nakikita natin? Mukha yatang yung immorality ando doon. Ano kaya yung kulang? Palagay ko, sabi ko yung consensus Kasi parang sinasabi natin dito, yung morality, ginagawa natin consensus. Pero yung morality should not be a consensus, the agreement among ourselves. Meron mga moral imperatives, di po ba? Kaya palagay ko kung halimbawa, moral consensus yan, para naging transaction. kaya yung paggawa ng mabuti, kahit kapag walang consensus, walang gawin. At kung gagawa ka ng masama, kung halimbawa may consensus sa kanila, yun ang tama. Ako medyo delikado But anyway, maraming salamat po, Associate Justice Antonio Carpio. napunta na po kayo ng EDSA Sanayan. You talked about the West Philippine Sea and we were grateful for that. And hopefully sa susunod po ay makapanayan pa namin kayo kasi inaabangan din namin ang gagawin po ng Supreme Court. Any words from you just to close the program?
Yes, I'm for the rule of law, so that's why we have been filing cases in the Supreme Court, because we believe that we should be able to resolve our national problems through the rule of law. And I hope that our justices, our leaders in the Congress and in the executive should understand this, because we don't want to suffer a revolution or an armed uprising or anything. No, we want to maintain the rule of law, because if you don't have the rule of law, anything will happen. No? And we don't want that. Yun lang.
Okay. So yan po, si former Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio po, napakinggan natin patungkol po dito sa impeachment complaint ng pangalawang Pangulo at sa desisyon po ng Supreme Court na ito nga, sandali muna, hold muna yung impeachment na yan. Mag-uusap-usap pa kasi meron pang mga gagawin. But anyway, ang taong bayan po ay naghihintay at nagmamatsyag. At ito naman po ang pakiusap po sa taong bayan. Huwag lang tayo maghintay, nagmamatsyag at nagmamasid. Yung pakikisangkot mahalaga. Kahit na nga po hindi tayo mga abogado, pero yung sa loobin natin patungkol dito ay mahalaga din. Kasi sinasabi ko nga ho mahalaga yung batas, pero meron pang ibang aspeto ng buhay na dapat nating tutukan. So we have the moral, the ethical dimensions of our life. And kung nag-fail yung batas and morality, sana tayo bilang publiko meron tayo nun. At sana yung moralidad sa ating lipunan ay pinangangalagaan natin, ina-uphold din po natin. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikinig. Ito po si Father Jerome Siciliano. Sumainyo ang katotohanan. Happy weekend. Bukas po, araw ng linggo, magsimba po kayo. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Veritasan.
Mga kapanalig, ating dasalin ng orasyon kasama ang kanyang kabunyian, Manila Archbishop Jose Cardinal Advincula Didi.
Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak at ng Espiritu Santo.
Amen.
Ang anghel ng Panginoon ay nagbalita kay Santa Maria.
At siya'y naglililalang ng Espiritu Santo.
Aba, Ginoong Maria, napupuno ka ng grasya, ang Panginoong Diyos ay sumasa iyo. Bukod kang pinagpala sa babaeng lahat, at pinagpala naman ang iyong anak na si Jesus.
Santa Maria, Ina ng Diyos, ipanalangin mo kaming makasalanan, ngayon at kung kami mamamatay. Amen.
Narito ang alipin ng Panginoon.
Naganap nawa sa akin ang ayon sa wika mo.
Aba, Ginoong Maria, napupuno ka ng grasya, ang Panginoong Diyos ay sumasa iyo. Bukod kang pinagpala sa babaeng lahat, at pinagpala naman ang iyong anak na si Jesus.
Santa Maria, Ina ng Diyos, ipanalangin mo kaming makasalanan, ngayon at kung kami mamamatay. Amen.
At ang Berbo ay nagkatawang tao.
At nakipamayan sa atin.
Aba, Ginoong Maria, napupuno ka ng grasya, ang Panginoong Diyos ay sumasa iyo. Bukod kang pinagpala sa babaeng lahat, at pinagpala naman ang iyong anak na si Jesus.
Santa Maria, Ina ng Diyos, ipanalangin mo kaming makasalanan, ngayon at kung kami mamamatay. Amen.
Ipanalangin mo kami, Santang Ina ng Diyos,
na kami dapat makinabang sa mga pangako ni Kristo.
Manalangin tayo.
Panginoon naming Diyos, kasihan mo nawa ang aming mga kaluluwa ng iyong mahal na grasya, at kayamang dahilan sa pamamagitan ng anghel, ay nakilala namin ang pagkakatawang tao ni Jesucristong anak mo, pakundangan sa mahal na sakit, at pagkamatay niya sa krus. Papakinabangin mo kami ng kanyang pagkabuhay na maguli sa kalwalhatian sa langit, sa pamamagitan ni Jesucristo ring Panginoon namin siya nawa.
Luwalhati sa Ama, sa Anak, at sa Espiritu Santo.
Na para noong unang-una ngayon at magpasawalang hanggan. Amen.
Sa ngalan ng Ama,